You are now streaming worldwide on RadioOnFire.com and the Radio on Fire app.
For Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, and our viewers from around the world, welcome back. Glad you can join us. Your man Diamond K, The Diamond K Show, RadioOnFire.com, TheDiamondKShow.com. Let's get started. The United States has officially withdrawn from the World Health Organization. The president made that move. Senator Bob Menendez announced earlier today. Menendez is the ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's a Democrat. And in a tweet posted this afternoon, he said that the Trump administration informed Congress of its decision to pull out of the Global Public Health Agency weeks after publicly criticizing its handling of the coronavirus pandemic. To call Trump's response to COVID chaotic and incoherent doesn't do it justice, Menendez said in his tweet. This won't protect American lives or interests. It leaves Americans sick and America alone. Very strong words from the senator. The senior administration has, said that effective July 6, 2021, that's when this whole thing goes down. The WHO acknowledged receipt of the report and their official withdrawing of the United States, but they did not have much more to say other than that. And why is this happening? News of this withdrawal comes as increasing number of states across this country are reporting record high numbers of new virus cases. The country as a whole has also reported record numbers of new cases over the past 2 weeks. And according to a situation report compiled by the WHO, the new cases reported in this country over the last 24 hours have accounted for 25% of the cases reported around the world. So Donald Trump said that we would be tired of winning. We're winning in this, and this is really losing. In total, more than 2.9 million cases were reported in the U.S. as of today. And this is according to a Johns Hopkins University tracker. So this is something that we're going to have to deal with. The president taking us out. And let me say this, the WHO has not been perfect in the way they've handled things. They have definitely been very shielding to China, very complicit in depending on who you talk to about that. But U.S. withdrawing from this organization is surprising. The United Nations founded the WHO, the World Health Organization, back in 1948, and the agency has become the global leader in responding to health emergencies around the world, and currently recognizes 194 member states. Soon there are going to be one less next year. Also in the news, 5 shocking claims made by Mary Trump in her tell-all book about the president. I mean, they say that family is usually the ones that have all the information on you. The book that they have been trying to stop from coming out is written by Mary Trump, who is the niece of the president, and she has a lot of things that she has to put out there. A lot of things. Mary's father is Fred Trump Jr., and he was Donald Trump's older brother. And she writes in this book, check out the title of this book. The book is called Too Much and Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man. And she's, of course, referring to her uncle, Donald Trump. She said that the president, her uncle, practices bullying and cheats as a way of life. This we know, and I'm sure that many of his ex-wives will agree with that statement. She said this, the niece, Donald, following the lead of my grandfather and with the complicity, silence, and inaction of his siblings, destroyed my father. I cannot let him destroy my country. Mary Trump is a clinical psychologist, and this book, published by Simon & Schuster, is set to be released next week, July 14th, 2 weeks earlier than they originally planned. Trump's younger brother, Robert Trump, has sued to block the release of this book, citing a non-disclosure agreement that Mary Trump signed in 2001 as the family determined Fred Trump Sr.'s estate. However, federal appeals courts have said Simon & Schuster is not bound by that agreement, and they have allowed the book to move forward. So let's get into some of these shocking claims that Mary Trump releases in this book. We have some of the memoirs, and they're very damning accounts of how Trump cheated as a way of life. She writes, she said that Trump cheated on his SAT to get into Wharton. In this one passage, she said that Trump paid someone to take his college admissions exam, the SAT, on his behalf and earned him a high score. Later on, Trump received his bachelor's degree in 1968 from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, which last year established a policy saying that providing false information on an application for admission, cheating on an exam, or tampering with records are qualifying offenses to revoke alumni degrees. So, if what Mary is saying is true, Donald Trump, I mean, she also said that as his oldest brother died, her father, Trump went to the movies. Mary says that Fred Trump Jr. died of a heart attack caused by alcohol abuse in 1981. No family members accompanied Fred Trump Jr., known as Freddy, to the hospital that night, and he died at the young age of 42. Mary said that Freddy and Donald were both abused by their father, Fred Trump, who favored Donald Trump. She said that their father, her grandfather, would tell the guys that Donald is worth 10 of you. Horrible thing to say. Freddie left the family real estate business to become a pilot for Trans World Airlines, allowing Donald Trump to ascend in the family business. She said that Donald, he has no principles, none. And we definitely see evidence of that. Donald's sister, Marianne, told Mary back in 2015 that her brother would never win the Republican presidential nomination. He's a clown. This will never happen. Mary says her aunt commented soon after Trump announced his presidential bid. Marianne was also as I am, astounded by the evangelical Christians' support for her brother. She said the only time that Donald went to church was when the cameras were there. Mary writes, quoting her aunt, "It's mind-boggling, but that's all about his base. He has no principles. None." When talked about the New York Times leaks, this was from 2018. If you remember this long-standing claim that Donald Trump has made that he was a self-made business tycoon, there was a New York Times tax story back in October of 2018. Mary says that she was one of the most important sources for that investigation. She writes that she leaked family tax documents to help the New York Times investigate Trump's wealth. Axios first reported on Mary Trump's participation with the investigation. The Times investigation revealed that the president was not a self-made man, but his father had bolstered his failing businesses in the 90s with injections of more than $400 million in 2020 dollars. So Mary Trump revealing that she was one of the primary sources for that story. She also said that Trump's dad destroyed him. That's what psychopaths do. Mary Trump described Donald Trump's personality as being the product of childhood trauma, stemming from how Fred Trump Sr. treated his kids. By limiting Donald's access to his own feelings and rendering many of them unacceptable, Fred perverted his son's perception of the world and damaged his ability to live in it. She said, very damning. Very damning. The pressure Fred Trump Sr. put on her father, Freddy, and Donald in the family's business incentivized lying from the beginning, according to the book. For Freddy, lying was defensive, not simply a way to circumvent his father's disapproval or to avoid punishment, as it was for others, but a way to survive. Now, when talking about Donald, she said that lying was primarily meant to convince other people that he was a better man than he actually was. The book also traces the origins of one of Trump's favorite descriptors. We talk about the fact that Trump never apologizes. Fred Sr. hated when his oldest son screwed up or failed to do what was required of him. But he hated it even more when being taken to task. Freddie apologized. "Sorry, Dad," Mary writes, adding that Fred Sr. would mock Freddie for apologizing. Fred wanted his oldest son to be a killer. According to the Business Insider, Mary described this incentive structure in the Trump household as having destroyed Donald Trump, with Fred Sr. leaving no room for emotions or vulnerability. That's what psychopaths do. They co-opt others and use them toward their own ends, ruthlessly and efficiently, with no tolerance for dissent or resistance. Very intriguing book. I'm very interested in reading this book. Mary Trump's take on not only her father, her grandfather, but most importantly to us, President of the United States, Donald Trump. As I said, this book comes out July 14th. I'm definitely going to be talking a lot about this book. Let's take a quick break. Come back with more of the Diamond K Show after this.
Follow us on all social media at Radio on Fire.